investigates death and deceit in Benghazi. From Washington, D.C., here is Brett Baer.
It looked like this election was all about the economy, but that changed when terrorists murdered 4 Americans at the United States consulate in Benghazi, Libya, on the anniversary of 9/11. Americans had questions. Who did this and how? Should our government have seen it coming? Did President Obama try to hide the truth? Is this a huge scandal that exposes a failed Obama foreign policy? Or is Mitt Romney just saying it is? Tonight, we'll try to give you answers. We'll walk you step by step through the terror that unfolded that day, and we'll break down the political maneuvering that's followed. But we begin with a series of frightening developments and troubling decisions leading up to that horrific night in Benghazi. It's a story you haven't heard, told by a man who tried to prevent what happened on September 11th, 2012. Did you have a close relationship with Ambassador Stevens?
I lived and worked with him for about 2 months when he came on there till the time I left, yes.
No one understands more than Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Wood the full extent of the fiasco that killed Stevens. He worked closely with Stevens for 6 months in Libya before his violent death. A 24-year U.S. Special Forces veteran, Wood's job was to try to prevent such an attack from occurring. Is there a side of this that makes you mad?
That was my first reaction when I heard that Ambassador Stevens had been killed. I was angry.
Why have you come forward?
I was at the hub of everything that was going on there. Some of that information needs to come forward.
We begin our story, however, in the winter of 2011, a year before Wood arrives in Libya. Colonel Muammar Gaddafi is still in power in Tripoli, but rebels, protected by U.S. air power, are gaining control over much of Libya. February 25th, the U.S. State Department withdraws all its personnel from the capital. But 6 weeks later, April 5th, 2011, it sends Stevens with a 12-man team by chartered boat to Benghazi, now under rebel control. As special representative to the rebels, Stevens set up shop in the Tibesti Hotel. June 1st, 2011, a car bomb explodes in the parking lot in front of that hotel. Stevens and his team decide it's too dangerous to stay there. In August, Stevens and his team settle on a compound on the west side of the city.
It was rented from an owner who had a nice villa there and several other outbuildings as well.
But not a lot of security.
Like in any residence, they're not a fortress.
Inside the walls are 4 buildings. One is essentially a large residence with a number of bedrooms in it. Another residence has a cantina where the staff eats. Just across the way is what they call their Tactical Operations Center, filled with offices for security staff, phones, and security monitors. Finally, the barracks, a small house by the main gate of the compound. It will house a Libyan security force. Sirte, Libya, October 20th, 2011. Colonel Gaddafi is captured and killed by rebels in his hometown.
Revolutions and wars don't just end. The killing goes on. Old scores are being settled, so sometimes there was revenge killings, things going back and forth. So there was still fighting going on.
With Gaddafi gone, Ambassador Stevens will spend much of his time at the main U.S. Embassy building in Tripoli. But he'll come to Benghazi often. The State Department upgrades the physical security at that property.
We extended the height of the outer wall.
Charlene Lamb of the State Department.
Masonry concrete, barbed wire, and concertina razor wire.
Finally, inside the large residence, a fortified safe haven is built. You enter through a heavy metal grill with several locks on it. Tell me about this safe haven.
Simply bars on windows, bars on the wall. You're just building a jail cell, basically. Then you're going to get inside, and it's a delay until you can get some relief to get out of there.
Security on the compound consists of 5 diplomatic security special agents and 4 members of the Libyan government security force called the 17th February Brigade. Former UN Ambassador John Bolton.
Well, it is the responsibility of host governments to provide for security for all diplomatic establishments within their territory. But from the U.S. point of view, we have to recognize that some countries are better able to do that than others. And when you're in a high-threat environment, we have to do what's necessary to protect our personnel on the ground.
There is more security at what's called the Annex, a mile away. Based in Tripoli, but moving around the country, is a Department of Defense site security team. February 12, 2012, Lieutenant Colonel Wood, who joined the Utah National Guard after his 2+ decades in U.S. Special Forces, arrives in Libya as the new commander of the SST.
It had 16 members.
Yes.
What exactly did they all do?
The site security team with special operations soldiers that had extra skills and capabilities they could bring to the embassy.
Could a team that small really make a difference?
The caliber of individuals on that team were the best in the United States inventory. Yeah, they can make a difference in any firefight.
The problem, however, is that SST is slated to end its tour in Libya by summer's end, and the security situation is taking an ominous turn.
Spring of 2012, there was an uptick in terror attacks in Libya. Is that right?
That's true. I think the nature of things started to change. When I first got on the ground, it was a lot of lawlessness going back and forth. As things progressed, the commotion settled down a little bit, but the targeted attacks seemed to pick up, and they seemed to be targeting more toward Westerners.
April 6, 2012, a bomb is tossed over the wall of the Benghazi compound. June 6, 2012, an IED is placed on the compound's north gate. No one is injured in either incident. That's not the case 5 days later. June 11th, 2012. A convoy transporting Great Britain's ambassador, Sir Dominic Asquith, is ambushed in Benghazi. He isn't hurt, but 2 of his security aides are.
Clear that was a terrorist attack.
I actually conducted an investigation a couple of days afterwards, walked the ground, took photographs, examined the vehicle. So they knew what they were doing, and it was definitely an assassination attempt by skilled operators. But as I could see it, I could see the adversary growing stronger, and we were the last thing on our target list.
In the past year, there have been more than 230 security incidents in Libya. And what's apparent to Wood is that terrorists are working on increasingly bigger plots.
I had seen instances occur prior to that. For example, with the other bombings, you know, I saw a series of things going on that it appeared to me that they were building toward, you know, additional attacks.
That's why Wood and Eric Nordstrom, the regional security officer, implored the State Department to keep Wood's SST force in Libya beyond its scheduled August departure.
We weren't requesting additional security. We were requesting to keep the security that we had, and that was being taken away.
So you want to keep your team on the ground, the team that was in place already?
Yeah, and my team was only a small part. There was MSD, State Department MSD.
That stands for Mobile Security Detachment Team.
A lot of those are ex-Green Berets, ex-Navy SEALs, excellently trained folks. There was 3 MSD teams when I got on the ground there.
August 5th, 2012. The State Department decides not to keep the SST in Libya, and the MSD team is being reduced as well.
So who opposed the request?
Charlene Lamb. She denied those requests or ignored them or just didn't fill them in cases.
Why is that? Why is that?
Because
you knew about all these other attacks that had taken place. It had been 12, 14.
we had been training local Libyans and arming them
Well, now,
for almost a year.
Okay, well, let me just interrupt.
Why do you think this request was denied?
I don't know. I really don't know. In the case of the SST, that was provided then by DOD. The State Department didn't have to pay money for that. I can't imagine why. I can't fill in that blank. That's part of what was trying to come out in the congressional investigations.
I mean, were you just flabbergasted that, like, what can we do?
We couldn't even keep what we had.
I think that what was motivating the State Department was that if we had security that would have truly been appropriate, it would have been an admission that conditions on the ground in Libya were not safe. And that would have violated the worldview that this had been an administration success.
You left Libya in August, less than a month before the attack.
August 14th.
How did you feel about the security situation when you left?
I didn't like it, and I said as much, and my concerns were specifically for Benghazi.
September 10th, 2012. Ambassador Chris Stevens arrives in Benghazi for a full day of meetings beginning the next morning. His first trip there since Wood's security team left the country.
Going to a dangerous place like Benghazi.
Yes.
But he knew it, didn't he?
Yes, he knew. And he went anyway, because I think in his heart, mission came first.
September 11th, 2012. A mob gathers at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, Egypt, then scales the walls and burns the American flag. The explanation is that they're angry over an obscure anti-Islam video produced in California. Meanwhile, something else is going on in Benghazi. At about 5 p.m. Eastern Time, the first reports about an attack come across the wire. It won't be until morning, however, until America learns how serious that is.
We weren't there. We just weren't there.
And if you were, could you have protected Ambassador Stevens?
Well, the more guns you have in a firefight, the better chance you have of winning.
When we return, Special Report Investigates is on the scene in Benghazi. What happened that night? Greg Palcott has the story of heroism and disaster.
So, you say men are superior drivers?
Yeah.
Then how'd I get this?
Safe driving bonus check. Every 6 months without an accident, Allstate sends a check. Okay. Silence. Are you in good hands?
Ultril is now America's #1 selling all-natural sleep aid. Ultril is made of 3 different but effective sleep compounds: melatonin, valerian, and L-tryptophan. Ultril is like 3 sleeping pills in one. Find out for yourself why Ultril is #1.
Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, the last head-to-head before America decides who will take the night. Watch as Bret Baier and Megyn Kelly host special coverage of the final presidential debate, Monday on America's Election Headquarters.
It's time to discover the Seamless Genie Bra, the most comfortable, conform-fitting bra you have ever worn. Whether you're petite or a full-figured woman, you will always have a bra that makes you look your best. The Genie Bra's secret is in the woven Everlast Comfort Stretch fabric that custom conforms to any size and never loses its shape. Plus, the wide Comfort Lift Band gives you the support you need without rolling. No more back fat. No unsightly top bulging, just a perfect uplift fit that molds to your body, giving you the ideal cup size every time. Order yours today, and you'll get 1 nude, 1 black, and 1 white Genie Bra for just 3 payments of $19.99. But wait, order in the next 20 minutes and we'll double the offer. That's 6 Genie Bras, a $120 value for just 3 payments of $19.99. Just pay separate processing and handling. To order, call or visit getgeniebra.com, and be sure to check out our brand new pastel color collection. This offer is not available in stores.
Diamond certified 1-carat solitaires just $18.90. 1-carat standards $9.90 per carat. Thousands of GIA and EGL diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. The latest designer styles set while you wait. By Factory Direct, the jewelry exchange nationwide.
Hey, Kev. How about a bike ride?
Huh? You're not my dad.
Hey, honey. Back feels better. A little dancing tonight, you and me. Hey, boy, you want to go for a walk?
Dr. Scholl's Pro Inserts with ShockGuard technology relieve different types of lower body pain by treating at the source, so you're a whole new you.
Where is everybody?
That's not your dad.
Go pro with Dr. Scholl's.
No, brother. Hey, how are you?
I say,
yeah.
Illegal substitution.
You gotta go.
Because I'm white.
What?
I got those laces.
You're white?
The Lead. All new Thursday, only on FX.
Monday, live from Boca Raton, Sean gets insight from Rubio, Palin, and Sununu. Plus, Luntz takes the pulse of Florida voters. Then, it's must-see political analysis from Buchanan, Rove, and Priebus on the record. Monday after the debate, it's a powerful night of programming.
The details are still coming out about what happened in Benghazi on September 11th. In off-camera briefings, in congressional hearings, Special Report has investigated as well. Greg Palcott took that information and went to Benghazi himself. There he talked to eyewitnesses and scoured the abandoned compound for additional clues. Now he pulls it all together and walks you through a timeline of terror you won't soon forget.
September 11th, 2012, morning. The U.S. ambassador to Libya, Chris Stevens, has a full day of meetings ahead of him. But since it's the 11th anniversary of the al-Qaeda attacks, he schedules all of them out of caution behind the perceived safety of the U.S. mission walls in Benghazi. 7:30 p.m. Stevens takes his last meeting in the large residence building with the Turkish consul general. It ends after an hour. 8:30 p.m. Stevens escorts the diplomat to the main gate. He makes small talk in Arabic to the guards and returns inside.
At this point, outside the main gate of the compound, on the other side of the U.S. mission walls in this Benghazi neighborhood, all is quiet. No stirrings of any protest, no sign of the real hell about to unfold.
In fact, the ambassador decides to turn in for the night. 9 p.m. Still no sign of any kind of spontaneous demonstration over that web video. A protest the Obama administration would later suggest escalated into a deadly riot. Joining Stevens in the main residence building is Information Management Officer Sean Smith and 4 diplomatic security special agents. Another agent is at the nearby Tactical Operations Center. All these agents are armed with pistols. 9:40 p.m. This amateur video apparently captures the first movement outside the compound.
The mad mob of attackers break through here, the main gate, a weak point in the defense of the mission. And then they move on here to the understaffed Libya militia barracks. They storm the place. They torch it. They light up embassy cars around it, and then they move on.
According to eyewitnesses, the fighters are well armed and organized, flying the radical Islamist flag, some with foreign accents. The agent in the operations center sees in monitors scores of men pouring into the compound.
A diplomatic security agent working in the Tactical Operations Center immediately activated the imminent danger notification system.
State Department official Charlene Lamb was working that night in Washington, and so she could follow the events in real time.
He also alerted the quick reaction security teams stationed nearby, the Libyan 17th February Brigade, the embassy in Tripoli, and the Diplomatic Security Command Center in Washington.
Back here in the main residence, the special agent, reportedly David Ubben, comes here and gets Ambassador Stevens from his bedroom and brings him, along with Sean Smith, to this room in the safe haven. Really, aside from some medicine and other supplies, a big, dark, windowless closet. And then, outside, a locked gate. Hope for security.
Ubben radios the others in the compound to say they are fine. The other security agents are scrambling amidst the gunfire and explosions, gathering up their machine guns, body armor, and ammunition from the other buildings. As 2 of them head back to the main residence, they're cut off by a large group of armed men. They decide to go back and barricade themselves in.
At this point, there are 7 Americans at 3 different locations. Ambassador Stevens and 2 others in the main residence, 2 special agents at the second residence and cafeteria, and then here in the Tactical Operations Center, 2 more agents. Attackers all around.
One group penetrates the small residence. The attackers, however, don't get to the agents, and they eventually leave.
Inside the main residence, it is a different story. Attackers come in here and they ransack the place, and then they go for the locked gate. They look inside. It's dark. They can't see anything. And then they try the lock. They can't open it up. Inside, Agent Ubben has got a gun trained on them, ready to shoot if need be.
But, as Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Wood says, the safe haven is only safe for a short time.
It's a delay for an aggressor, but it has to rely on someone to come in to rescue him as well.
That someone, Wood says, might have been his elite site security team, but they've been pulled out of the country. Either way, Stevens, Smith, and Ubben were trapped by diabolical killers who pour diesel fuel around the house, light it, and leave.
When we come back, the trapped Americans tried desperately to escape.
Picking the right car insurance is easy. You start with 2 identical cars with the same coverage. One through Progressive, the other through 21st Century. Both cars are covered, So both cars get repaired. But drivers who switch to 21st save an average of $550 a year. Call 888-GET-2121. 21st Century Insurance.
Dig it, 21st.
New Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy? 5-Hour Energy supports the Avon Foundation for Women Breast Cancer Crusade. So I can get the energized feeling I need and support a great cause? I'm sold.
Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy.
Yeah, and a portion of every sale goes to the Avon Foundation for Women Breast Cancer Crusade.
I'm sold.
New Pink Lemonade 5-Hour Energy. Get the alert, energized feeling you need and support breast cancer research and access to care.
I'm Dr. Pachorik. If you have trouble sleeping, you're not alone. Millions of Americans now have sleep problems. Do you have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up tired with no energy? Sleep problems can be caused by many different things, and that's why Ultrol is made up of 3 completely different sleep compounds: L-tryptophan, valerian, and melatonin, all combined in one pill to work on different parts of the brain to help you sleep. Ultrol is the #1 selling all-natural sleep aid in America, so try Ultrol for natural sleep.
Amazing Grace.
How sweet the sound that saved.
A crackhead, drug addict,
alcoholic, meth freak,
a rich, like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken. Sad.
Just lost.
But now I am
sober,
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
When you donate clothes and goods to the Salvation Army, shattered lives are restored.
Before Obama and Romney square off, Bill has powerful political insight as Hume, Peters, Clark, Williams, Ham, and Goldberg preview the final presidential debate on The Factor Monday.
If you want to see the most college football, then order ESPN Game Plan. Get up to 15 out-of-market games per week, featuring the top conferences, key matchups, and great college football action you can't get anywhere else. Contact your local pay-per-view provider or go to ESPN.com/gameplan to order the regular season offer today.
Get all the college football action with ESPN Game Plan on AT&T U-verse. Call 800-ATT-2020 or visit www.uverse.att.com.
If you're tired of stabbing your fingertips to test your blood glucose, we have news that could change your life. The Embrace meter from Diabetes Care Club is nearly painless. And the best news is that Diabetes Care Club would love to send you one of these meters. Call now to find out why. Nearly 250,000 patients have joined Diabetes Care Club. Membership is free, so is the call.
Call 1-800-261-0759.
Talk to Diabetes Care Club. You'll be glad you did.
Break, Greg Palcott told you how terrorists overran the U.S. consulate compound in Benghazi, Libya. A handful of Americans caught by surprise, pinned down in 3 different locations. 3 of those people, including Ambassador Chris Stevens, have locked themselves in a so-called safe haven constructed in one of those buildings. The attackers can't break in, so they've set the place ablaze. Once again, from Benghazi, here's Greg Palcott.
September 11th, around 10 p.m. The entire safe haven, which takes up part of the first floor of the main residence, is black with thick smoke and fumes. Ambassador Stevens, Sean Smith, and David Ubben move to a bathroom within the safe area, which has a window. They try to open it, but it doesn't help. There's just too much smoke. They drop to the floor, trying to get air, but even down there, they can't breathe. So they decide to leave the safe haven and take their chances with the armed attackers who have taken over the U.S. compound. Fighting the heat and smoke, they find another window grill they can open. This is the window that Special Agent Ubben jimmies open and crawls out of, but Stevens and Smith do not crawl out after him. And so, even though he can barely see, barely breathe, he goes back in. In fact, he goes back in and out several times. He can't find them, and he is overcome with smoke. Ubben struggles up a small ladder to the roof of the building and collapses. He radios the other agents. Another U.S. agent in full combat gear emerges from the Tactical Operations Center. Throwing a smoke grenade to hide his movements, he moves to the small residence and gets the 2 agents holed up there out. The 3 then get into an armored vehicle parked nearby and drive the short distance to the large residence. Taking turns, they crawl into the residence on their hands and knees, feeling their way through the building to try to find their 2 colleagues. They find Smith. They pull him out of the building. He's dead. Now remember, the crack site security team is gone,
but there's a small unit of security at the annex a mile away. 6 Americans and 16 from the Libyan militia arrive. Some surround the compound. The others go in. They're unable to find Stevens. By 11, the Libyan forces say they can no longer hold the perimeter. The American agents carrying Smith's body pile into an armored vehicle and exit the main gate. They head for the annex about a mile away.
The crowd fires upon them and throws 2 grenades under their vehicle. They take direct fire from AK-47s from about 2 feet away. Despite 2 flat tires and heavy damage to their vehicle, they keep rolling. Several blocks away, they hit more traffic in a busy Benghazi neighborhood. The car careens over the middle divider, pushes forward against opposing traffic, and finally makes it to the annex and again hoped for safety. Sometime after midnight, back at the mission, looters enter the building and find the body of Stevens slumped on the floor.
Although they don't know who he is, they drag him out through a window. His eyes are dazed, his face smoke-stained, seemingly lifeless. When someone says he's breathing, the crowd is relieved and cheer. Allah Akbar, God is great.
Around 1 a.m., Ambassador Stevens is brought by car here to the Benghazi Medical Center, where doctors try desperately to resuscitate him for some 45 minutes. They fail. He dies of severe asphyxiation.
Back at the annex, the battle is on again. Fighters hitting the place with AK-47 fire and rocket-propelled grenades, forcing those inside to retreat to a building further back in the annex compound. Sometime after 1:30 at the Benghazi airport, a team of reinforcements arrives from the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli. They make their way to the annex. According to reports, they were going into an ambush.
Around 4 a.m., this annex compound is hit by another wave of attacks. It is described as planned and precise. A round of mortar fire targeting the roof of a building set well behind this gate. That turns out to be dangerous and deadly. Killed in that attack, 2 security personnel, Glenn Doherty, 42, and Tyrone Woods, 41, both former Navy SEALs. Badly injured, Special Agent David Ubben, the same man who struggled valiantly to save the lives of Ambassador Stevens and Information Manager Smith. The fighters are repelled. The annex, reportedly a base of operations for sensitive intelligence work tracking militants in eastern Libya, is secured, and a decision is made to evacuate the whole enterprise.
8:30 a.m. September 12th. The second plane leaves with the remaining Americans on board and the bodies of Ambassador Stevens, Smith, and Agents Doherty and Woods. It's less than a month since the military site security team left the country, to the regret of its commander, Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Wood, who says they would have made a difference.
It was a job of the SST to protect the ambassador should something like that happen. It was our job to defend the compound and engage those targets until he could be extracted.
Chris Stevens was the first U.S. ambassador killed on duty in more than 3 decades. September 11th, 2012 was a tragedy that will long be remembered. Then the story moved back to Washington. Was what followed the fog of war, an attempted cover-up, or something else? Special Report investigates after the break.